Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. Joining us now is Christina Kino. She's the managing editor of Bloomberg Markets Live blog. And what were you looking at today? What were the movers that caught your eye?
Well, David, we had some big moves post-market for Oracle because we did just get them reporting after the bell. So Oracle, ticker ORCL, big gains in post-market, up 7%, more than 7%, and a big beat on that fourth quarter adjusted revenue that came in at $15.9 billion. Well, and the estimate was $15.6 billion, but that's actually an 11% increase from a year earlier. Cloud services and license support revenue also a standout gain there, $11.7 billion, which is a 14% increase from year on year. And the forward guidance from the company also looking very optimistic. They're seeing fiscal year 2026 for total cloud growth over 40% in terms of that growth rate. So Oracle CEO Safra Catz saying that 2026 will be an even better year for them.
Struck by the optimism of this report. I mean, there's been so much uncertainty and negativism. Here to see a report where, despite all of the uncertainty surrounding trade and the like, this is a company that's optimistic.
We're seeing a pop here. We're really seeing a pop here. Yeah. Looking at shares, they're up about 5.8% year to date. And it's just really, as we're looking at the broader tech sector and the performance there, it's really interesting to see this forward guide that is positive and optimistic for street estimates. But there is a name in the red that you're looking at, and that's in the defense sector. I know, we have to talk about the names in the red, too, the decliners.
Yes, exactly. So that's Lockheed Martin, ticker LMT. And in the regular trading session, that's one of the biggest decliners on the index today. Shares down more than 4%. And that is because of the developments regarding the Air Force and its orders for the signature F-35s that Lockheed is known for. The Air Force cutting its order down by half. It's now just ordering 24 planes instead of the 48 that was forecast last year. The Air Force, of course, is the biggest customer for Lockheed, and those cuts really reflecting the efforts by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to reduce projected military spending by 8% over the next 5 years.
Yeah, he was up on Capitol Hill today talking a lot about the cuts that he's identified, that DOGE has identified in the Pentagon budget. We're still talking about a fraction of this massive, almost $1 trillion budget. But what we're seeing with Lockheed today, certainly highlighting the fact that this is an administration and a Pentagon that is willing to take a second look at some programs that have been the beneficiary of a lot of government investment and spending for a long time. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to the green, another company that did well.
Exactly.
Today. We'll get out of the red and into the green.
Exactly. I figured I'd give you the sandwich method today. So let's finish up with a stock in the green in regular trading. That is Starbucks, ticker SBUX. So that was up more than 4% in regular trading. And that was after the Financial Times published an interview with CEO Brian Niccol, who was saying that Starbucks is looking at a possible sale of a stake in its China business. And that has drawn, quote, a lot of interest. So apparently Starbucks is searching for a partner and interested in expanding the chain in China. So they currently have around 8,000 stores. They're looking at an expansion to 20,000 stores, so more than double. But he did also say that they're in no rush for a deal, and they want to maintain a, quote, meaningful stake in the operation.
And while the stock is up about 4.5% so far this year, CEO Brian Niccol has really been trying to do a turnaround story here for Starbucks. They're trying to increase foot traffic. And I was browsing today and I saw that apparently they're launching a protein drink.
That's right. Yeah.
So a Starbucks protein drink.
Catering to the gym bunnies out there, right? Yeah. Because you need your protein and your caffeine. Get it all at Starbucks.
Would you guys try it?
I would maybe try it once. I'm not sure that I'd be sold on it, or I would be like seeking it out. But this is a company that, like, Howard Schultz continues to loom large. Brian Niccol, again, as you've said, trying to do this turnaround. How difficult is that likely to be for this company?
I mean, it really is very much dependent on consumer attitudes and sentiment, right? I mean, especially in the U.S., that's a little bit more unpredictable. But you can see that the company is really trying to leverage its presence outside of the U.S. China has been a real focal point for them. They're also, doing a lot of other things like increasing their tea-based offerings. We heard about that, over the past week. So that's something that they're really trying to do to be able to compete more internationally, perhaps as a response to maybe a little bit more uncertain picture back here at home.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.